So I'm Charles Partain. I'm the EMS coordinator for Abbeville County under the Department of Public Safety. I've been involved with Abbeville County since 2012 when I got my EMT certification. And so I've since continued up to paramedic and then was promoted to the EMS coordinator. So Abbeville County is a little over 500 square miles, with about 490 of that being covered by land. So we have a vast majority of land here that's unpopulated, is not resided in, so of course it creates vast areas. During the height of the storm, it definitely affected, from the EMS standpoint of that, a lot of power outages. And you have patients at home that have oxygen, and so they didn't have oxygen, so that increased our EMS call volume a significant amount, trying to get those individuals somewhere that did have oxygen so they could have access to their healthcare needs that they had. I think you saw Abbeville as a small community during Hurricane Helene come together and unify. The volunteer fire departments and the sheriff's office were integral in the response to assist with EMS. Speaking from the EMS side, I have to say that we probably have some of the best EMS providers around. We had no issues with our responses or with people being taken care of in the community. Now that we've created this public safety model in the county, right, so we have a public safety system now, and so that was our first real challenge that we had all faced as newly appointed positions. And so I think that watching how everyone worked together and how they came together as one was a huge asset to the county. There was an ambulance that was involved in an accident with a tree that took almost 5 hours to get to a hospital. And so that's the importance of being able to communicate with them, to know where they were and to be able to get help to them. No real way to avoid that, but I think that's just another stance of saying, A, our providers are doing a great job, and B, the communication system worked like it should. Yeah, there were a lot of issues. One, you talk from the EMS side that I was dealing with was people not having power, so they don't have their medications, they don't have their oxygen, they don't have a refrigerator to keep their insulin cool, right? So we dealt with a lot of people that normally would have been able to care for themselves, but now due to the storm, they're not able to do so. So that was a big point. Not having fuel, we had to get with the county and find a way to get the generators working at the county landfill so that ambulances could get fuel to continue running calls, sheriff's office vehicles, and fire trucks. So that was definitely a challenge that you don't think about going into something like that, is how are you going to sustain responses even during and post a disaster. The EOC communications here in the Emergency Operations Center were great. I would say our public safety director newly had appointed 5 people to positions in the county as coordinators underneath him, and being able to be a part of that, I think, was pretty awesome to see everybody that had just gotten to these positions be able to come together and work as one group during such a disaster like we had. Heroic act, I guess you could call it, would be, the ambulance crew that was stranded. A tree fell in front of them when they were going to the hospital, and in trying to back away from that tree, several trees fell behind them. So they were basically stranded between trees. In trying to get other apparatus to them, there were multiple trees that were down. So between the sheriff's office spent the next almost 5 hours cutting trees out of the road and moving those so that we could be able to get them to the hospital. During that time, responses were grounded from all other responders because the storm was so severe. So I think that was a testament of dedication. I think the first point would be safety, making sure that everyone goes home to their family in the morning. And so a lot of people wouldn't be familiar with the area, but it's an area that's kind of down toward the Lounsville community. Normally in the past we would not have had radio communication with them, so that was a concern, right? This is the first high-scale incident that I've been involved in that Fleettalk was our radio system. And so of course initially I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to communicate with them or with the Emergency Operations Center. So it was definitely a relief when I got there and realized that there wasn't going to be a lapse of that communication during that event. I had no issues with the radio system no matter where I was in the county, whether it be here close to town or whether it be out in the outlying areas. There was no issues with the radio system. I'd been familiar with them before the storm. Now during the height of the storm I was out doing responses, but in speaking with our 911 director, they were very attentive during the actual event that took place on that night. And then after the storm, they definitely have came and made sure that everything was still working properly and made sure there were no needs that we had. Yeah, so being here for close to 15 years now, we've had radio systems in the past that you weren't able to communicate. And during the storm, there was a major incident that we had in an area that normally in the past we would have not had radio signal. And so for me, when it was all over, it was very comforting to know that there were no gaps in that coverage at that time.